it's not if we subject these notions, right?
Yes.
Chapter is the divine personality. Those who are very intelligent and very intellectual, they have a problem with the divine having a form. So that is what Sridhar is discussing. Okay, so can we start reading?
Yes, we have to read. Read.
Have to read it. Yeah, that's right. So one of you has to read. So
Shall I
you
read?
have the text.
I have the text. Yeah.
So Yasmin, you want to
Yes.
read?
Yes, please. If we subject these notions of the divine personality to the discrimination of the intellect, we shall be inclined to reduce them, according to our bent, to frictions of the imagination or to a psychological symbols. In any case, the response of our sensitive personality is something which is not this at all, but is purely impersonal. We may say that is in reality the very opposite of our humanity and our personality, and therefore, in order to enter into relations with it, we are impelled to set up these human frictions and these personal symbols so as to make it nearer to us. But we have to judge by spiritual experience, and in a total spiritual experience, we shall find that these things are not frictions and symbols, but truths of divine being in their essence, however imperfect may have been our representations of them. Even our first idea of our own personality is not an absolute error, but only an incomplete and superficial view bent by many mental errors. Greater self-knowledge shows us that we are not fundamentally the particular formulation of form, powers, properties, qualities, with a conscious I identifying itself with them, which we at first appear to be. That is only a temporary fact, though still a fact of our partial being on the surface of our active consciousness. We find within an infinite being with the potentiality of all qualities, of infinite quality, Ananta Guna, which can be combined in any number of possible ways, and each combination is a revelation of our being. For all, this personality is the self-manifestation of a person, that is to say, of a being who is conscious of his manifestation.
Okay, so Sridhar is describing how human beings, depending on their nature, approach the divine personality. So let's have a look at what he's saying. If we subject these notions of the divine personality to the discrimination of the intellect, if you want to judge, if you are a very intelligent person and you want to judge the divine personality, then you have a little doubt because the intellect will say that two opposites are not possible. Okay. In other words, they will say that how can the formless have form? Okay, so you will doubt. But it depends on the nature of the individual. So we'll have a look at that. We have mentioned that. Okay, so if we subject these notions of the divine person, what are these notions of the divine personality? He can be a friend, he can be a lover, he can be a guide, he can be a teacher. We have spoken about all this earlier. Okay, remember anything. He can be all these things together or separately also. So we shall be inclined to reduce them according to our bent. Okay? That means our inclination, our nature, the nature of the character of our nature. According to that, we shall judge the divine. Okay? We can to fictions of the imagination. So if you are approaching this whole question with an intellect, okay, and discriminating intellect, you will say that there is no such God. Okay? God is a fiction of an imagination. Okay? This is in fact, even those who have had spiritual experience will tell you that. Okay? Jiddu Krishnamurti, for instance, okay, there is no doubt that he was a spiritual man. He had gone to the Nirvanic consciousness. There is no doubt about it. He had silenced his mind. But even he says that there is no God. There is no personal God. So it's not only intellectual, but it's even spiritual, but you are in the mind planes, the second level. To understand the divine personality, you have to go to the third level. Or if you are very open with your personal character, then you will understand that divine can have personality. Okay? But if you are not, then you will say that all these ideas, okay, are all fictions of the imagination. Divine is infinite and impersonal. There is no question of having a personality, okay, if you are intelligent, or to psychological symbols. Now, if you are a little more, you are very intelligent and you are intellectual, but you are a little more open to the idea, you will say that all these symbols, the photograph of the mother, okay, is a symbol. You can go to the impersonal aspect of mother through the photograph. Okay? You will admit that much. If you are over strict with your own intellect, you will not admit that. Okay? All this is bunkum. But if you are a little more open and your nature is a little more plastic, you will say that, okay, these symbols that are there, okay, the image of Shiva, the image of Krishna, the image of Ganesh, okay, these are all symbols. And through the symbol, you can contact the reality of the deity whom you are worshipping, but that will be formless. You are giving a form which is a representative and a symbol to that which is formless. Okay? That's what it is. And in any case, the response of a sensitive personality to something which is not all this, but is purely impersonal. Okay? So it depends on your how sensitive you are to all these issues. We may say that is in reality the very opposite of our humanity and our personality, and therefore, in order to enter into relations with it, we are impelled to set up these human fictions and these personal symbols so as to make it nearer to us. So, this is another thing. If you are arguing with somebody who is very intellectual and says that God is a personal form of God is your imagination, you can answer simply saying, we may say, look at the language, huh? It's possible to say that, he said. Okay, somebody may say that. Okay, we may say that. Okay, that's another thing I want to point out how Srivendra is his style of prose. I've told you that his style of prose has got very distinct characteristics. One of these characteristics is he doesn't use commas, and sometimes he uses parenthetical phrases with comma dash. Okay, that is also. Then this is also a characteristic of his writing that he repeats the word. That is in reality. Okay, very few people will do this, but Srivendra has the temerity to do that, to break all rules of grammar. Okay, not grammar but style. Okay, and he also says what is a reality. He repeats the word is many times. So this is a style that he uses and identifies his style with his own style of prose. Okay. Aside, but anyway, interesting to know. They say that is in reality the very opposite of our humanity. The divine is not the human. We are limited and he is unlimited. And our personality is opposite of our personality. What is our personality? Body-mind life. Okay? And therefore, in order to enter into relations with it, note the word that is impersonal and it also is impersonal. We are impelled to set up these human fictions and these personal symbols so as to make it to us. He is so far away that we have to build a bridge. And these symbols and these photographs and these forms are the bridge. So it's reasonable to say that. We may answer in that way. But all this is at the intellectual level. But we have to go not by intellectual levels, but by spiritual experience. We have to judge by spiritual experience. And in a total spiritual experience, we shall find that these things are not fictions and symbols. What are these things? Photographs, statues, okay, idols, okay. All these things are not fictions at all. Okay. They have a corresponding reality at a physical level. So at the reality of the level, true that it is limited and temporary, but even then it's reality. Reality in time and space. Okay, so no doubt that the reality in time and space is less real than the impersonal at the highest level. There is no doubt about that. But still, they are realities. At divine the chapter we are reading now, reality and the knowledge. Okay, so he will tell you that the reality depends on the level at which you are. Okay? Even the reality is relative. Okay, there is an absolute reality, there is a relative reality, and there is a reality which is semi-real and semi-unreal. You can even experience it as totally unreal, depending on the where you are standing on the ladder of ascension. Okay, that's what he's saying. So, but we have to judge by spiritual experience. And in a total spiritual experience, we shall find that these things are not fictions in symbol, but truths. Divine being, in their essence, not in the form, but behind the form, the reality is there hiding. Like the tree is the essence of a seed. Okay, so in that sense, however imperfect may have been our representation of that. It's true that idea that the divine is only the form is a crude way of imagining, yet there's a truth to it. That's what he's saying. Even our first idea of our own personality is not an absolute error. So what Sindhu is saying is interesting. So the first idea of our own personality, what is that? You are identifying yourself with your body, mind and life. That's your personality. Remember, I told you, personality with a lowercase p is your body, mind, life. That which is the manifestation in the world. Okay, that's your personality. And when you are identifying yourself with it, an absolute falsehood. I'm saying it's not an absolute falsehood. There is some truth to it. Okay? When you separate yourself and go into the nirvanic consciousness or the Brahmic consciousness, first of all, you feel that there is a total disconnection between your body, mind, life and your soul. But later on, when you become the Anumanta, you find that no, that was not a very correct assessment. There is a connection. So if there is a connection, the body, mind, life is partly true. Very little partly true maybe, but even then, even 10%, there is a truth. That's what it is. Even our first idea of our personality, which means you're identifying yourself with your body, mind, life, is not an absolute error, but only an incomplete and superficial view beset by many mental errors. So, greater self-knowledge shows us that we are not fundamentally that particular formation of forms, powers, properties, qualities, with a conscious eye identifying itself with them, which we at first appear to be. We appear at first to be our body, mind, life. So he's saying that. So he's saying, rise in consciousness, losing your identification with body, mind, life. That's what it means by greater self-knowledge. Your mind, your soul comes out of your body, mind, life, and you get greater self-knowledge. Shows us that we are not fundamentally the particular formulation of form, powers, properties, qualities, with a conscious eye identifying itself with them, which we at first appear to be. Particular formulation of form, your body. Particular formulation of power, your vital. Okay. Properties, the nature of your being. Okay. You may be generous, you may be very concentrated, you may be very outward going, you may be very active, you may be very passive. All these are your properties. Qualities, okay, with a conscious eye identifying itself with them. Okay. The conscious eye identifying itself with them is your ego. Okay. It is identifying itself. The ego is making a big mistake, okay, but we appear, which we first appear to be. That is only a temporary fact. So still a fact of our partial being on the surface of our active consciousness. Partial being, your body, mind, life is a partial being on the surface of our active consciousness. Note the word active consciousness. In other words, when you are identified with your body, mind, life. Your passive consciousness is when you are not identified with your body, mind, life, and you go outside body, mind, life, and you reach the Brahmic consciousness. That's it. Consciousness. Okay? And the active consciousness is what we are now, and we think that we are doing the action. We find within ourselves an infinite being with the potentiality of all qualities of infinite quality, Ananta Guna, which can be combined in any number of possible ways. Okay? So, I was just seeing a video today, and that Westerner is trying to explain Hinduism to others, and he says that in Hinduism there are 30 million and gods and goddesses. Saying that okay, it can take potentiality of all qualities of infinite quality, Ananta Guna. The divine is not restricted only to omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. Okay? He can take any number of qualities. Okay? That all at a lower level, one becoming the many, it takes on infinite qualities, which can be combined in any number of possible ways. So, he can be teacher, he can be guide, he can be friend, he can be master, teacher, okay? He can be lover. Any combination of all these also can be done. Okay? And each combination is a revelation of our being. He can express himself to you in any way that you want to see him. That's what it is. All this personality is a self-manifestation of a person. Our level, our body-mind life is a manifestation of a person, our soul. Our body-mind life is an expression of the there are many people who say that even your physical features, okay, are a reflection of the soul's swadharma, swabhava. Okay? So, for instance, they mention several things. Ramakrishna says that. Okay? He says that the Buddha, for instance, when he stood, his hand would reach below his knees. Okay? So that's a characteristic. So all these, your physical also, if you look very, very carefully, are symbolic of your nature. Okay? That's what also Sri Aurobindo admits. Mother also says that the physical symbol of the reality. So even your physical features, they have a meaning. It's not that they absolutely, it's by chance that you have a body of this nature. No, it's not like that. By the way, there is nothing by chance. Huh? Everything is intended. Sri Aurobindo says that very clearly. There is no such thing as an accident or a chance. Everything is caused by something or other and has a meaning. That's what he said. So, for all this personality is a self-manifestation of a person. Okay? A true person. Person is a peacock. Your soul and your self. That is to say, of a being who is conscious of his manifestation. That's what self. Go to the next paragraph. Now, but we see.
Mother says.
Yes.
Mother says it is the beauty of the soul that gets reflected in the face.
Yes, that's right. But when it gets reflected, the reflection can often be distorted, na? And that's where the defects of the body mind life appear. It's a reflection.
Yeah, I mean these are her exact words.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. But the beauty of the soul does not get translated into the body-mind life in a perfect way. That is why there are defects in the body-mind life. Huh? Sometimes the body-mind life can be very ugly also. So that's a defect of the lower. Remember the law of diminution and distortion. Okay? So that those who can see the subtle realities will see through the ugliness and through the form they will see the reality. Okay? When you went to mother, she would see your psychic being, not your body-mind life. Okay. Read the next one. Who will read? Got 40 minutes. We got 20 minutes. So somebody has to read. Sunki, you want to read?
Yes, I will read.
Okay, go ahead. Next, we can ask Kiran to read.
But we see, too, that this being does not seem to be composed even of infinite.
Rangata?
Yes.
Uh, yes, sorry to interrupt, but I don't have text now, so I can't read. I'll read tomorrow.
Okay, okay, agreed.
Sorry, yes.
No, no, no problem, no
I
problem.
will read then. Okay. Yes.
Read from the beginning again. But we see.
Okay. Okay, but we see too that this being does not seem to be composed even of infinite quality, but has a status of its complex reality in which he seems to stand back from it and to become an indefinable conscious existence, anir desyam. Even consciousness seems to be drawn back and even merely and leave merely a timeless pure existence. And again, even this pure self of our being seems at a certain pitch to deny its own reality or to be a projection from a selfless, baseless, unknowable, which we may conceive of either as a nameless somewhat or as a nihil. It is when we would fix upon this exclusively and forget all that it has withdrawn into itself that we speak of pure impersonality or the void nihil as the highest truth. But a more integral vision shows us that it is the person and the personality and all that it had manifested which has thus cast itself upward into its own unexpressed absolute. And if we carry up our heart as well as our reasoning mind to the highest, we shall find that we can reach it through the absolute person as well as through an absolute impersonality. But all this self-knowledge is only the type within ourselves of the corresponding truth of the divine in his universality. There too we meet him in various forms of divine personality, informations of quality, which variously express him to us in his nature, in infinite quality, the Ananta Guna. In the divine person who expresses himself through infinite quality, in absolute impersonality, an absolute existence, or an absolute non-existence, which is yet all the time the unexpressed absolute of this divine person, this conscious being who manifests himself through us and through the universe.
So, we'll do one thing. We'll see the summary of what he's saying here, and then we'll go into the details of the pattern. I am reading the summary of what he's saying here. Okay, so that we get the gist of what he's saying. Spiritual experience, the truth of divine personalities behind the divine person. Okay? So the divine personalities are the gods. Okay, and that is that gods are what we conceive of. We don't conceive of the divine person because he can be also impersonal. But the divine person, we worship Shiva, we worship um, Christ, Buddha, we worship Rama, we worship Krishna. These are all the divine personalities, okay? Varuna, okay? Then all these different Agni, okay? These are all the divine personalities behind the divine person. But there is another status of the divine being which he seems to withdraw himself into an unexpressed state. And this absolute state is featureless, since all features, qualities have been withdrawn, recalled, pulled back into himself. And that's a Nirguna Brahman. The Saguna Brahman is the one who has got qualities and features and characteristics. But when you go into the Brahmic consciousness, it becomes a featureless one. Suitable and featureless. That's what Sridhar is describing here. That also is possible, depending on the individual. Okay? The featureless pure existence is all that is left when the withdrawal into the personal divine is complete. Withdrawal of what? Withdrawal of all characteristics. Okay? In fact, so featureless, so signless is it that it assumes the state of a total non-existence and nihil. Okay? So this is the Buddhist and the Mayavadi philosophy also. You can experience the divine as a total blank. Okay. And that blank can be also experienced in two ways. Really a blank of non-existence, or a seeming blank which is full of potentialities. This is a state that is spoken of as a pure impersonality, the Brahmic consciousness. But in fact, it is nothing but a total withdrawal into himself. In fact, it is so featureless that we even say into itself. Okay? Of all expressed manifested qualities, okay, it should be that we can't even say into himself, because it is so, there is no itself. Okay? It's into itself and not himself, of all expressed manifested qualities. Now, this is possible, but the integral view does not agree with that. But the integral view includes both states of its vision of existence. And what is this vision? The unmanifest, okay, the impersonality, which is a nirguna, the manifested personality, which is a saguna. We accept both. Others may not accept because they go by their experience. But Srindra is saying, if you experience both together, it's possible. And then therefore we accept both. The divine personality and the divine impersonality. The integral yoga accepts both. And if we approach the nirguna through the heart and the mind, and the divine person. In other words, the approaching the nirguna through the heart is the bhakti path, okay? The path of devotion and love. We find that the divine person, we find the divine person with both aspects. You can experience the impersonal as well as the personal. Normally, when you experience it through the heart, there is a personality. But if you experience it through the mind, it becomes impersonal. Normally, he is the Purushottama of the Gita, Ishwar of the integral view. Here is a synthesis of the personal and the impersonal. That's what Srindra is saying. This is a summary of what we see. Now we can look at the further language. I'm reading each sentence and it is clear. Because a day will come, and maybe it has already come for all of you, that you have to read on your own, and I'm only trying to help you, because with the words, when you know what word he is using for what state, then it becomes easy to understand slowly. Okay? However difficult it be, that's the whole intention of doing this exercise. But this being does not seem to be composed even of infinite quality, okay? But as a status of his complex reality. That's one. But we see too that this being does not seem to be composed even of infinite quality, but has a status of its complex reality, in which he seems to stand back from it and to become an indefinable conscious existence, anirdeshyam. Anirdeshyam means that which cannot be assigned properties. Okay? Deshyam. Described by properties or features. So that is the Brahmic consciousness. Even consciousness seems to be drawn back and leave merely existence. Pure existence, substance. Okay? It's a substance which is of a consciousness, but when you Brahmic consciousness, it is just a mere substance which is one and featureless and static. That's Brahmic consciousness. Even consciousness seems to be drawn back and leave merely a timeless, pure existence. That's the experience of the Brahmic consciousness. There is no consciousness even, it's just a static condition of substance. And again, no self-aware being seems at a certain pitch to deny its own reality. So, nihil, the Buddhists say that. Okay? So, they nihil. Just 1 second. So, you deny your own person. There is no person at all. There is no ego. There is a slight confusion in that because when you are the second level, your ego disappears. And the ego is so strongly, it feels you that you have a body-mind life, that you feel that you don't have a body-mind life and that you don't have any characteristics at all. Okay? That's an exaggeration, but that is possible. Okay? It denies its own reality. So, or to be a projection is baseless, unknowable. You can experience it in two ways. You can say that now I have become nothing, or you can say that I am a projection from a selfless, baseless, unknowable. Very, very vague idea. Your conscious may be of 1% of it who is experiencing this unreality. Okay? So maybe 1% aware of your own personality, but mostly it is nothing. It's just a sea. There is no wave. The wave is a formation, but the wave is seeing itself as a sea. I am not even a wave, I am just a sea, which you may conceive of either as a nameless somewhat or as a nihil. You see the difference? The nihil is a total zero, but the nameless somewhat is there is some idea of who is experiencing this nihilism. Okay? So maybe 0.5% or 1%, someone is experiencing this nihilism, this absolute blankness. So that also is possible. It is when we fix upon this exclusively and forget all that it has withdrawn into itself that we speak of pure impersonality, void nihil as the highest. And say that that's the highest, because beyond that there's nothing. It's a total blank. So, which is not, can also be full of features even at a higher level, but you're not gone there and you feel that that's the ultimate truth. Mayavada and Buddhism. Okay? But a more integral vision, there you are. Okay? So, level 2, if you go, you may feel that the ultimate reality is a nihil. You may experience it that way. But if you go even higher up the third level, but a more integral vision shows us that it is the person and the personality and all that it has manifested, which has just cast itself upward into its own unexpressed absolute. You go even higher up in the third level and you see the divine can be a person as well as an impersonal force. Okay? And if we carry up our heart as well as our reasoning mind to the highest, we shall find that we can reach it through the absolute as well as through the an absolute impossible. Possible at the spiritual, at the supramental level. But all this self-knowledge is only the type within ourselves of the corresponding truth of the divine in its universality. But all this self-knowledge is only the type within ourselves of the corresponding truth of the divine in its universality. The divine is expressing himself, and the individual will experience the divine according to his own nature. That's what is being said. Meet him in various forms of divine personality, in combinations of quality which variously express him to us in his nature, depending on what you want to see. In infinite quality, the Ananta Guna and the divine person who expresses himself through infinite quality. In absolute impersonality, an absolute existence or an absolute non-existence, which is yet being who manifests himself through us and through the universe. It depends entirely on the individual how you are experiencing the divine. That's what it is. Total non-existence, you can experience him as total Saguna, divine person with infinite qualities, or you can experience it as both together. Now we can go to the next para. How much time we have? We have 5 minutes. We can read it. Okay. So,
Yes.
You want to read? You can read if you have the
Yes,
text.
yes, yes, I have a text.
Right.
Even on the cosmic plane, we are constantly approaching the divine on either of these sides. We may think, feel, and say that God is truth, justice, righteousness, power, love, delight, beauty. We may see him as a universal force or as a universal consciousness. But this is only the abstract way of experience, as we ourselves are not merely a number of qualities or powers or a psychological quantity, but a being, a person who so expresses his nature. So is the divine a person, a conscious being who thus expresses his nature to us. And we can adore him through different forms of this nature: a God of righteousness, a God of love and mercy, a God of peace and purity. But it is evident that there are other things in the divine nature which we have put outside the form of personality, in which we are thus worshipping him. The courage of an unflinching spiritual vision and experience can meet him also in more severe or in terrible forms. None of these are all the divinity, yet these forms of his personality are real truths of himself, in which he meets us and seems us to deal with us as if the rest had been put away behind him. He is each separately and all together. He is Vishnu, Krishna, Kali. He reveals himself to us in humanity as the Christ personality or the Buddha personality. When we look beyond our first exclusively concentrated vision, we see behind Vishnu all the personality of Shiva, and behind Shiva all the personality of Vishnu. He is the Anantaguna, infinite quality, and the infinite divine personality which manifests itself to it. Again, he seems to withdraw into pure spiritual impersonality or beyond all idea, even of impersonal self, and to justify a spiritualized atheism or agnosticism, he becomes to the mind of a man indefinable, Amir, Amirdesyam, Anirdesyam. But out of this unknowable, the conscious being, the divine person who has manifested himself here, still speaks. This too is I. Even here, beyond the view of mind, I am He, the Purushottama.
We have only got 2 minutes, so we can't do this para today. We'll redo it next time. Okay, so I think we'll have to make a note. Just 1 second. Have to make a note. We will redo this para. Okay, so the page is 586. No, sorry, 585. Even on the, we are constantly approaching the divine. Even on the cosmic plane, we are approaching. It's a very interesting para, how you can, I'll give you examples also of who sees him as justice, who sees him as right, who sees him as power of love, delight. Okay, there are many, many interesting cases. Calvin, okay, thought of him as a king who is a judge. Okay, he's going to punish you for your good deeds. For your bad deeds, and he's going to reward you for your good deeds. Then there is the aspect of Saint Francis of Assisi, who thought of God as love. Okay, so in fact, in the Muslims they always say Allahu Akbar. Okay, God is great. Okay? That's their conception. In many Christian cars, at the rear window, you will see they put the word God is love. Okay, so all of you are seeing one aspect of the divine, whereas he himself has got 100,000 aspects. Okay? That is why in Hinduism we have millions and millions of gods. One divine can represent himself through infinite number of qualities. That's why. This next time, okay? Even as a cosmic plane. Okay, so I now say au revoir to all of you, and you have a good day. Have a good day, please.
Bye-bye.